super new to pitching. I didn't really know what I was doing. I would just try stuff. If it worked, I'd stick with it. If it didn't work, I'd throw it in the trash and then try something new. I want to pitch in the MLB. I know that I'm capable, but I need help getting there. Like who can I work with? And there's a lot of people out there. I need somebody who I know that I can get results from. And I got results from the free mechanical analysis. So it just seemed like a no-brainer. I feel like the biggest takeaways from working with you has just been attacking my goals with a plan. I hit 96. I think when we started, anywhere from 87 to 91, varying on the day. But the last 4 months, it's been 92 to 94, touching six, touching fives. Another thing that you helped me out with was return to throw from injury. I know that I had that nerve shock in the fall. Having somebody in my corner, I had one of my best years ever. The command was there, the velocity was there, and the stuff was there. And be able to, bounce video off of you and bounce questions off of you and just, pitch grips, just anything. It's been super valuable. I wouldn't be here, being the pitcher that I am today without you as a resource. If you really want to be a better pitcher, you're going to find a way. And that's not going to be that big of a speed bump. And I think those are the guys who you kind of look for. Every single day is a choice of whether you can get better or let somebody else take your spot. Choosing to stick to a program and actually committing to it, even though it is a big commitment and it might be scary and it might be, a big investment. If this is what you really want, then you need to really make that choice.
For anyone watching this, Matt and I have been working together for 11 months now, 10, 11 months-ish. So through the fall, through the spring, through the summer, and here we are here heading into fall 2024. And he has been an exceptional athlete to work with, probably the epitome of what I think any coach would want in an athlete that they're able to coach, from a personal perspective, from a work ethic perspective, from a responsiveness perspective, and just, overall is or has been really enjoyable to work with. So I just want to start by saying thank you, but also want to ask you about your experience kind of coming into trying to find somebody to work with remotely, or just how you kind of found me, and what was kind of like the point you were at when you found me and you decided that you wanted to work with me directly.
Yeah, well, I mean, thanks. First of all, thanks for saying all those nice things about me. I really appreciate it. And it's been a two-way street, working with you. It's been great communication. And I mean, just to get right into it, I was going into my third year of pitching in the fall, and I hadn't worked with any online coaches or anything, and super new to pitching. I didn't really know what I was doing. I would just try stuff like just off of YouTube or Twitter or X and see if it worked. If it worked, I'd stick with it. If it didn't work, I'd throw it in the trash and then try something new. And I want to play professional baseball. I want to pitch in the MLB. I know that I'm capable, but I need help getting there. And so I needed to find help. And I found you through the free mechanical analysis on TikTok. And I was like 88, 90 before one of my outings. And then we talked, you gave me, I still remember two of the tips. It was, finish out in front, super basic, but good reminder. And then to stay stacked over the rubber. And I'd never heard that before. And hearing that, I think I hit 92, 93. So immediate results just from that free mechanical analysis. And that was over the summer when I was playing summer ball. And then in the fall at school, I wanted to get some extra development. And I was like, hey, who can I do? Like, who can I work with? And, there's a lot of people out there. And I was like, okay, like I need somebody who I know that I can get results from. And I got results from the free mechanical analysis. So it just seemed like a no-brainer. And I like pretty much how you work and your thought processes, and just super basic, but I also like what you post. And like seeing what you post is kind of getting to see who you are as a person. And if I like your post and I like the mentality behind them, I mean, it just seemed like a no-brainer. And then I feel like the biggest takeaways from working with you has just been attacking my goals with a plan, because I was attacking my goals. And even though I thought that it was planned out, like I had never had anybody do a throwing program for me. And I had never had anybody do like, okay, like, hey, if we get your hips pointed down, then that'll, squeeze out a little bit extra mile per hour, or, just squeeze out everything out of my potential. And I feel like that's what you've helped me get. And you can see that in the results. Like I hit 96. I think when we started, I don't know where I was at, like anywhere from 87 to 91, varying on the day. And in the back half of my season here, or honestly, like the last, I don't know, 4 months, it's been 92 to 94, touching six, touching fives. And so, kind of going back to last fall too, another thing that you helped me out with was return was return to throw from injury. I know that I had that nerve shock in the fall. And then, having somebody in my corner and, helping me out, being like, hey, we're gonna throw 3 days a week and it's gonna be at, XYZ feet and it's gonna be, 75 throws. And, just stacking up that volume in the fall. At first I was like 75 throws in one day, like, okay, and I'm doing 25 of them off of one knee, like what? But I was able to go through this whole year, and I just finished season on Sunday, throwing from middle of January until uh September 1st, and I had no injuries. I missed 0 games because my body was hurting, and I had one of my best years ever. And the command was there, the velocity was there, and the stuff was there. And just to be able to work through the season with a plan and be able to bounce video off of you and bounce questions off of you and just pitch grips, just anything, it's been super valuable. And honestly, I wouldn't be here, being the pitcher that I am today without you as a resource.
That was a hell of a response, so I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah, no problem. Yeah,
Yeah, and still a long way to go
yeah.
from our set goal. So I'm excited about that. But thank you for those kind words as well.
Oh yeah.
Um, what are some of the things that you think that maybe you were skeptical about as far as working with, myself or just like working with someone who's literally on the other end of the country beforehand, that you were able to kind of solidify in your mind that it can work or it did work for you once you kind of went through the process and saw how everything worked and, started seeing results from that?
Yeah. And I think that's a great question. I'd say some of the cons when I was looking into working with you was like, okay, I'm in school, I have a pitching coach, and I need to adhere to my school first. And that's just kind of how college baseball is set up. And I think finding a balance between managing your your schoolwork, not like schoolwork, but like your school load with where like with your school pitching coach and your personal coach. I think that it does take effort in order to balance that, and it takes communication with your pitching coach and with you too. And I think that, I mean, it is kind of a big obstacle trying to balance that. But I think, if you really want to be a better pitcher, you're going to find a way, and that's not going to be that big of a speed bump. And I think those are the guys who you kind of look for, and maybe those are the guys who you have success for. It's like, hey, like, okay, I have a pitching coach and I have my throwing program with school. How can I balance that, and how can I optimize it all, and how can I make sure that I'm showing up and being the guy at school, and not being a problem, and where it's like, oh, I'm only gonna do this because my throwing guy, because like my personal coach wants me to do that. It's like, okay, like, how can I find a balance? And I'd say that was one of the hardest things. And then also communication too, because you're out in Maryland and I'm in California. And so being able to find time to text. And, if it's 8 o'clock for me, it's like, okay, it's 11 o'clock. Maybe I'll just shoot him a text at 7 a.m. when I wake up for weights. So I think finding a balance between school and then, you know, personal programming was a big obstacle, and also communication was a big obstacle too.
Awesome. Awesome. Good to know and good to kind of hear that. And, from my perspective, learning as I kind of go along from different guys and different programs and everything. So that's super helpful as well. This is the last question I have. What's maybe one thing or maybe multiple things that you would tell somebody who wants to play high level college baseball or wants to play professional baseball, and they're kind of like in a rut. They don't really know what to do. They were maybe in a similar spot to where you were at
Yeah.
before you found that direction and that clarity.
Yeah, that's another great question. I would say, I mean, first thing coming to my mind is everything's a choice. When I was in junior college, I wanted to play Division I baseball. Like, that was the choice I made. So I was like, okay, how can I do that? Get better. How do I get better? Okay, I do X, Y, and Z. And I think, everything that you do in your career, I mean, it sounds super repetitive, but every single day is a choice of whether you can get better or, you know, just let somebody else take your spot. I would say, making a daily choice of like, okay, am I going to knock out mobility? Am I going to, throw every pitch in catch play with intent? Am I going to, knock out my post throw workout? Am I going to, make sure that I do, 3 sets of 15 on the forearm or am I just going to do 2 sets of 10? Because, like nobody's really watching you at the end of the day. So I think if you, I mean, and it's tough too. And it might seem like, hey, you know, that's a really hard thing to do, but at the end of the day, somebody has to pitch in the MLB. Somebody has to pitch in professional baseball. Somebody has to pitch in college baseball, and it goes all the way down. And I think really, and it's not just like, oh, like I want to pitch in the MLB. It's like, no, like I want to pitch in the MLB. How do I do that? I need to throw harder. Okay, let me try to throw harder. I tried doing that. It was really like this without a plan. And so I was like, okay, how can I make it like this? I need help. Okay, how can I get help? Boom, search out the help, find somebody who works, and then not just finding somebody who works for you, but finding somebody and then sticking to that plan too.
Mhm.
Because I know one of the things you post about a lot is like, oh, program hopping, and I've seen that just this year being at school. It's like, oh, I was doing this, and then I'm gonna try going this. Oh, no way, I just saw this on Instagram, and then it's seeing that and also having done that, you're not gonna get results.
Mhm.
And so I think choosing to stick to a program and actually committing to it, even though it is a big commitment and it might be scary and it might be a big investment. It's like, if this is what you really want, then you need to really make that choice. Because I mean, what I've seen, with just being 3 weeks in independent baseball, it's like, I can just choose to either be on my phone for 3 hours before the game and just, be on TikTok, or I can go do mobility. I can play catch. I can, go to the weight room if they have one available. I can walk to the grocery store instead of door dashing McDonald's. Everything is a choice. So
Mhm.
yeah, sorry for like for another long-winded answer, but I would say just if you're in a rut and you have a goal and you deliberately make a choice, stick to it because somebody has to do whatever your goal is.
Fire me up. I love it.
Awesome.
I love
Yeah.
it. Great stuff. Well, yeah, I mean, if anybody's watching this and you want to know, like, you want to see like what it takes and how bad somebody wants it, like you're literally door dashing right now in an effort to like,
Yeah.
work
I,
your way through
I
the
don't I
off.
don't think you can see the sweat either, but it's like 85 out and I'm saving
Yeah.
gas with the car
Yeah.
off.
So I think to boil this down to something, it would be this is the example of like if you want something bad enough, you'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what's made working with you so enjoyable, and I just appreciate you tons. And you're, you know, not to get too emotional, not emotional, but just I don't know what the word is, but
Sentimental.
you sentimental, yeah, like you inspire me to want to be better for myself and for the guys that I'm able to work with and just a better human being. So thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to everything that you have coming up in the future.
Thank
So
you. I appreciate it. Yeah. And thanks for being my coach too. I
of
really
course,
appreciate it. And like I said before, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the throwing programs, the, constant communication and just, guide me through this process. Cause it is a hard process, wanting to play professional baseball. And I just really thank you for helping me get here today. And, we're not even close to being done.
hell yeah. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Awesome.